So if you are looking for a video that is going to explain to you who is RaeShonda and LaShondra, this video is for you. Okay, so this is RaeShonda. She is a business owner, entrepreneur, TikToker, content creator. Most importantly, she is a fashion designer for plus size women, and she owns a boutique. Remember that RaeShonda owns the boutique. And she is a lover of Beyonce. She does not hide anything. She's very transparent. So she is here showing her before her weight loss surgery that she had recently. And here she is now. She does have 3 kids, I believe. And I say I believe because it is TikTok and I haven't watched every single video of hers. But from what I have seen, I see that she does have 2 girls, which are a set of twins and a son. And this here is LaShondra. According to her TikTok page, she is a minister, author, and life coach. But her 9 to 5 is a property manager. And from what I know from following them, she has a son and his name is Devon. Now, RaeShonda is the one who filed for divorce. When she initially did it, she wasn't really transparent. She just kept it simple and sweet and was to the point, and we didn't hear from her until this morning. So RaeShonda went on live and explained to everyone why she filed for divorce. There were a plethora of reasons why she did. So in order for her to really move on, I feel like she had to explain what exactly happened. And especially with her being a business owner and a successful one at that, she doesn't need her personal business to interfere with her moneymaker. So with that said, I'm just going to explain to you the things that she said in the video. Initially, what sparked the filing is a eviction notice on her door. And when she confronted LaShondra about it, who is supposed to be paying for the rent, she basically gave her the runaround. And RaeShonda ended up having to go to the leasing office to find out what was going on. And so to give you a background, the house that they shared, they were renting, and they live in Kentucky. And so since LaShondra is a property owner, RaeShonda has been giving her half of the rent. Now, with this eviction notice, she had to balance working and fulfilling her obligation, her business obligations, and deal with this at the same time. So she ended up having to go out of town for a gig right after she found about the eviction notice. And so she left it up for LaShondra to figure out what was going on, because LaShondra was just basically telling her, oh, it's a big mistake. So when RaeShonda came back from the gig, LaShondra had said that she still hadn't heard anything. So that prompted RaeShonda to just go to the property management office and figure out what was going on. And so they basically told her for the past 11 months that LaShondra has bounced checks. So the third time, which happened around August 30th, the owners of the property decided that they were wanting to evict them. And so by then it was already too late for RaeShonda to find this out, because at that point, yes, she could have paid for the rent, but the property managers said at that point that they didn't want to continue having them in the house. And so if they wanted to move before September 30th, they were able to do that, and they wouldn't put that eviction on their credit. So of course, RaeShonda decided to move. Keep in mind, RaeShonda explained that the landlords followed them on TikTok. So imagine RaeShonda doesn't even know that LaShondra is not paying the rent. And they're living their fabulous life, going to Beyonce concerts. She went to 2 Beyonce concerts, and the landlords are probably looking at their content like, wait a minute, they're going to all these places, they're seeing Beyonce, and they're being featured on all these television shows and doing all this, and they're not paying rent. So I'm pretty sure that was another embarrassment right there. So I think that was the best thing for her, just to move and to just tell everybody what is going on with the marriage. Now, RaeShonda did explain that she did see signs of all this mess brewing, but she didn't really think anything of it because this is her wife. And so she trusted her wife. And of course, once she started telling friends and family members that she was filing divorce and explaining them the situation, each of them expressed to her that their own experience with LaShondra. Not only did she not pay for rent, she owed a lot of RaeShonda's friends money. She borrowed $1,000 from another friend. Now, keep in mind, they were featured on the show Yes to the Dress. And LaShondra went behind RaeShonda's back and asked one of their best friends for $1,000 because LaShondra claimed that they needed the money in order to buy the dress. Now, with RaeShonda being featured on Say Yes to the Dress, it was pretty much free. And her dad paid for the dress. So somewhere, somehow, they didn't need money for the dress. But LaShondra convinced her friends that they did. And the friends didn't think anything of it. They let her borrow $1,000. They said that it took over a year for her to pay them back. So that was one thing. Another friend told her that, you know, she really wanted LaShondra to change her life. And the reason why she wanted her to change her life is because she didn't want her to go back to jail again. So this is the first time RaeShonda is finding out that her wife had went to jail for fraud. Again, no one told her. And one of her friends, who she is actually staying with now, because she's homeless, she had to move out of the house and has to find a new place to live, even told her that the reason why she didn't tell her what she knew was because it was a new relationship and she thought it was a person being a hater. Once they started dating back in 2017, this person told her best friend that LaShondra is someone that you shouldn't be in a relationship with, that person actually had to file bankruptcy. And so her best friend didn't think to tell her that because she thought she was a hater, because they are very public on, you know, on social media and everybody knows them. And I kind of understand why her best friend didn't say anything, because people are haters and you don't want to be that friend to say something negative about your new partner. And considering she's her best friend, it really is really tricky. But RaeShonda did explain that she wished she would have known that information and she would have known how to move accordingly. But here we are, she didn't know. Now, initially, she said she did leave LaShondra years ago. What had happened was LaShondra told her that her mom bought them a dining room table. So RaeShonda didn't think anything of it. She was like, okay, cool, we have a table. Now she leaves to go out the house and Rent-A-Center is at her door and they're there to repossess a dining room table. So RaeShonda was like, okay, you lied to me, I'm out. So she left the house and she went to go stay in a hotel in a couple of days. And LaShondra ended up convincing her to come back to the house. And RaeShonda said, if you lie to me again, I am going to leave and I'm never coming back. So fast forward to now, RaeShonda lied about not paying the rent. And another thing that she found out was that LaShondra defaulted on a loan that RaeShonda co-signed. LaShondra actually defaulted in the loan back in May or June. And she just told her this past September that she defaulted in the loan. So now her credit is messed up and she had superior credit. So now she has to start all over. She also found out that LaShondra was talking about one of her twins very badly. This daughter is very bubbly. She's very, like, her personality is, if you're either gonna like it or you're not gonna like it, point blank. But for her to be her stepmother and to have a problem with RaeShonda buying things for her kids, knowing that she was homeless with them, knowing that she struggled from being homeless to where she is now. And for you to even say something negative about her kids, or even negative about her doing things for her kids, is just like, it just puts everything into perspective when you are a content creator and you are sharing your life, all of your life, and what actually goes on behind the scenes. That's why you really can't say relationship goals, because you don't know what that relationship is going through behind the scenes when that camera is off. And I almost forgot to mention this part. Now, the property that LaShondra manages, some way, somehow deals with federal funds. And RaeShonda's brother lives on this property. So he's been cash apping his rent to LaShondra. And now that everything is out in the open, RaeShonda feels like she doesn't believe that LaShondra has been paying the rent for her brother. Now, it wasn't explained why he's been sending it to her, but he told RaeShonda that he's been sending the rent to LaShondra for the past year. And according to RaeShonda's math, LaShondra has been receiving not only RaeShonda's portion of the rent for the house that they lived in for less than a year, but she's also receiving rent from her brother, which has been also within this year. So the question is, where is all this money going to if she's not paying the rent? Does she have a gambling problem? Is there a mistress? So that leaves a lot of unanswered questions and an opportunity for the feds to go after LaShondra and put her back in jail. I mean, she's making money off of her job. She's making money off of her personal TikTok page alone. And she couldn't even pay for the table from Rent-A-Center. She couldn't just pay that off. And one of the running jokes on the page is that she's very cheap. So I just don't understand how she ended up getting into this situation if she's cheap. So what is she doing with the money? Okay, so I have to interrupt this video here. As I was editing, I realized that I not only missed some information, but there's some new information. Okay, so the information that I did miss is that a church in LA that LaShondra used to work for warned a church in Baltimore that she should not be trusted with their money because allegedly she stole from the church in LA. And while I was editing, I went back on TikTok, and now there is an update that LaShondra's name may not even be LaShondra. And there is an alleged mistress. So stay tuned for more on that. Another friend told her that LaShondra ended up taking payment for one of the promotions that RaeShonda did for her friend. And so basically, RaeShonda did a promotion for her friend's business. She didn't want to take money from the friend. She was like, hey, you're my friend. I'm not going to take money from you. So the friend ended up calling LaShondra and telling her, hey, can you send me an invoice so I can pay RaeShonda for the promotion that she did? So LaShondra was saying that she'll do it, but she can't use the invoice for RaeShonda's company, that she would have to use the invoice from her company in order to pay. So there was a text exchange, and this friend sent that text exchange to RaeShonda. And in the text, RaeShonda read that, she was basically, LaShondra was just basically hiding money from her, money that was owed to her. And this money was sent around August. So this is right before the eviction. So LaShondra was getting money before this eviction came. So she could have really rectified it. But when you are a scammer and you are a fraud, the lies end up becoming bigger and bigger, and it becomes so big that you can't even hide them anymore. And I just want to end this video saying that it's going to be very difficult for RaeShonda to move forward, because this is going to be a stain in her social media presence. And whenever you get in a situation where someone has done you wrong or someone has manipulated you, and the fact that they shared their life on social media, it's going to be hard for her to move on, because even though RaeShonda has explained all of this and she put this out there and she has receipts and that people can vouch for what she said because they had their own personal experiences with LaShondra is going to be fine. She's going to be able to continue to have supporters, because LaShondra did bring a lot of joy and happiness to people when she was on RaeShonda's page. Even for myself, I was looking forward to the Halloween videos, and she had just started those Halloween videos, and looking back at the dates, those dates kind of reflect around the time that the eviction notice came. And so I'm going to be disappointed that there's no Halloween videos, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to go and support her in whatever she's doing. I'm not picking sides, but it's just not LaShondra isn't someone that I want to support, but people are going to support her. People are going to still show her love. So with LaShondra hiding behind the Bible, she's going to continue to find other victims. Don't be surprised if she shows up in another relationship, because this is how social media works. And I want people to really open their eyes and see how this person who's done this thing to this other person, and how you can continue to move on, and how victims of abuse, they can't move on, because when their abuser is on social media, they have so many supporters. So it's like the abuser doesn't even have to hold themselves accountable, because they have so many supporters that is going to enable their behavior anyways. And it's almost like anything that was said about LaShondra could ignore it. She's going on her life. She's showing us now, even on her page, that she's moving on with her life like nothing happened. If someone new goes and follows her page because of the Bible verses that she's putting out there now, they're not going to even know the drama that's going on with RaeShonda. So I really feel like RaeShonda should file for divorce. She should go ahead and get that Lifetime movie, get that Lifetime deal. I can see that. If she needs someone to write the story, I'm her girl, because I was already thinking about a story about them to write about them, but there wasn't like enough meat to their story. But now it would be good. So she's looking for a writer. I'm your girl. And I feel like she's going to flourish and she's going to move on. And I feel like this is going to be a lesson learned. She's not going to share her personal life anymore, because she did mention that she felt like LaShondra like seeked her out, found out who she was, and positioned herself for RaeShonda to meet her and fall in love with her. And all of it now, RaeShonda is finding out, is all a lie. And so that's pretty much what this drama is about, why everybody's talking about it, and now that you're up to date. So let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.